Hey, thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. Are we good?
Yes.
So here we are. I want to say thank you to Marie for inviting me to play not once but 3 times, I think. And it's great to know that you really do exist and you're not just a computer. Well, this is the first time I played live in front of people for about a year. Actually, that's not quite true. I've had a couple of shows this year, but they were all out of doors. So I want to say thank you to you all for braving the perils of COVID. I want to make it clear that I've had both my vaccinations, so I think I'm considered technically, not a spreader. So I think we should be all right. And what a relief to get through that. I mean, how long have we all been longing for this particular day? I certainly, the day when we can come out and take our masks off. And what a beautiful spring evening, and what a lovely place to be. It's a very pretty town. I've never been here before, and I hope to come back. So I'm going to play for about an hour. I think mostly original stuff, but that is songs of my own composition. I don't know how original they are, but they're certainly my own. Of course, if you'd like to shout out, the name of a song by a songwriter other than myself, then I will rudely ignore you. Please don't ask for Freebird. That's all that that rules you out, right? Well, you never know. You might get lucky. Anyway, here's a little love song. I'm Amazed. This is called I'm Amazed. I don't need the mountains, and I don't need the trees. Well, I don't need the splendor of the sun that shines on me. Well, I don't need the treasures I buried out at sea. Well, I don't need the lovely gardens of antiquity. Well, I've traveled far, and all that I've seen left me cold, twisted and scarred. Nothing could move in my soul. But I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. Dreams claw at me in the night, and they whisper of tragedies not yet come to light. We must hold on to these precious times when I'm here by your side and you are by mine. Out on the road, though you are far from me, everywhere I go, wonder is all that I see. It's better than the mountains, better than the trees, better than the splendor of the sun that shines on me, better than the treasures buried out at sea, better than the mighty temples of antiquity. I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. okay for you, everybody? Is it so good? Okay. So we'll stay with it as it is. Now you may wonder why I've got 3 different guitars here. The idea is to give the impression there are actually 3 musicians that you've paid for a trio, so you really get your money's worth. Well, actually, the other reason is that they're all in different tunings. If you understand about guitars, all the strings are in different relationships with each other, so that I get a slightly different sound with each guitar. And I always travel with 3 different guitars. They were made by a man named George Loudon in Belfast, Ireland. Very good guitars. So this is one of my older songs, and it kind of tells you a little bit about myself. My name is Wates, Rupert Wates, and here's a song about waiting. So much of life is waiting. Waiting for romance. Waiting for success. But now that I've played Bigelow Public Library, I'm still waiting for success. Only joking. It's a pleasure to be here. This is called Waiting to Begin. When I was a little boy, the world was like a Christmas toy, life a game that I was sure to win, and I'm still waiting to begin. Work hard and get ahead, in time all things will come, they said. That was only so much spin, but I'm still waiting to begin. Waiting to begin. Waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. I'm still waiting to begin. I never crossed the starting line. The race has left me far behind. I'm no longer in my prime. Still the siren voices sing. They're calling from that promised land, stolen from me by some sleight of hand. Life's a shadow of the one that I planned, until I find the real thing. I'm waiting to begin. Still waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. I'm still waiting to begin. Days come and go, and all I really know is that I'm slowly getting older. No more time to waste to find the joy in the race. It's already halfway over. Let me do all that I intend. I'm gonna give all that I have to spend. The road is rushing towards the end, but I'm waiting to begin. Waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. Still waiting to begin. I'm still waiting to begin. Thank you. Waiting to begin. So this is one of my oldest songs, this next song. I wrote this when I was 22, so it was about a good 5 years ago now. Well, I've been 27 for a long time, put it like that. It's a great age to be. This really is one of my oldest songs, and 2 of my friends from Massachusetts, John Loritz and Anne Sandstrom, who are based in North Reading, which is where my good friend Art is from, about an hour's drive from here. They did me the honour of recording this song recently, and I was very honoured that they should do that. It's also been recorded by several other artists, so maybe there's something to this song. I've had about 25 of my songs recorded by different people, but this is one that seems to be a favourite amongst them. Anyway, it seemed particularly appropriate this evening because it's about the moment when the rains are finally gone. Actually, there's a bit of rain in the air this evening, but that's okay. It's nothing like the rain that we've been living through over the last year, I'm sure you'd agree. And we can look forward and see the light at the end of the tunnel, and the world is glittering and shining and beckoning and saying, yes, it's all right, come out and play. So that's the moment that this song celebrates. And this is called After the Rains. eagle shakes his feathers dry after the rains are gone, and makes his home the wide blue sky after the rains are gone, and callers waiting to amaze are open to the gentle rays of the day to come after the rains are gone. And we will walk in clearer lights after the rains are gone, and we will see with clearer sights after the rains are gone. And when the rain dries on our cheeks to leave us on a mountain peak, then we will hear our vision speak. After the rains are gone, far from the thunder's reach, we'll hear a different song, love calling each to each, and through the mist of joy and pain, the morning bird will sing again, although the night was long. And if no trace of us remains, just say we walked in love's domain. His will be our song after the rains are gone. The eagle shakes her feathers dry after the rains are gone, and makes her home the clear blue sky after the rains are gone, after the rains are gone. Good. After the rains, swapping guitars here in a desperate attempt to keep you amused and entertained this evening. So the big event that happened in my life, other of course than playing for Bigelow Public Library this evening, in the last year has been the birth of my first and probably my only child. Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit better late than never in my case. So my partner Stacey, she's a bit younger than me, but it was getting on to the time when we would have to do it, you know, if we were going to do it at all. So we decided to go ahead. And Gabriel, our son, was born in March of last year in New York City, Mount Sinai Hospital on the Upper West Side. What a time to have a baby, you might say. The pandemic was just getting underway, and if we'd left it even a few days later, I wouldn't have been allowed in the hospital, and Stacey would have had to go through the whole thing on her own, which would have been pretty awful, and I would have been very sorry to miss that great event. So I was very lucky to be allowed in at all. We just made it in and out of the doors before they closed, you know, for so many people. But I would go in and out of the hospital, and I'd go through a set of swing revolving doors, big revolving doors. I would come in and someone would come out, and it occurred to me that so many people who go into that hospital never came out, and that hospitals are that kind of place. So we were meeting and passing, and of course, being a writer, I said to myself, well, isn't that just like life? So I decided that I would write a song loosely derived on that idea, dedicated to my son Gabriel, because we were lucky that we brought him home out of those doors to begin a new life. So this is for Gabriel. This is called the Carnival Waltz. All the pretty horses go round and round, painted and so gay, prancing and dancing while the music plays. And so many people are standing in line, waiting to take a ride. Some may be happy and some may be hurting inside. As long as the wheel keeps turning, we'll watch them all go by. Some say hello and some are waving goodbye. For every face that is passing from us, another will always come round. And all we've lost someday will surely be found. Round and around they go, round and around they go, round and around they go. All the pretty horses go up and down, painted in their colors so gay, prancing and dancing while the music plays. Every good friend that we've lost on the way someday will come to the sound, and we are all riding the merry-go-round. Round and around we go, round and around we go, round and around we go. So I appreciate that. So I've got some CDs for sale. Now Jodie's been very good. She's already bought 2 of them. But I would like to mention that my CDs actually have nutritional value because if you buy one, then I will eat. So please don't forget they're sitting there, $15 each, $20 for 2. And all these songs come from one of those CDs. So if you'd like to live with these songs, you can do me a favour and buy one of my CDs. My new CD I recorded in June of last year. In fact, almost exactly 1 year ago to the day I recorded my new CD. And I always record my CDs very fast. I go in an afternoon and I record the whole thing live, no overdubs. Usually it's just me, so it's easy to arrange. Sometimes I invite other musicians to come and play with me, but that gets to be very expensive. And also, when I'm on the road, I always play solo, so I try to keep a kind of homogeneity between what I do in the studio and what I do live. So you're getting the same thing if you buy the CD. You will get you'll get what you heard today, essentially, if you buy the CD. Anyway, so a year ago I went in the studio and recorded a new CD. It's called Lamentations. Lamentations, why Lamentations? Well, it's a book in the Bible. I'm not a great reader of the Bible, but I do read it occasionally. And it's a beautiful piece of work, of course. And one of the books in the Bible is called Lamentations. And I said to myself, wow, what a great title for a CD. So I stole it. Little did I know at the time, 2 years ago, that we would spend a lot of last year lamenting, because it was a very difficult year for all of us, of course. So the time for lamenting is over, but this is called Lamentations. Once I was lovely, once I was young, once I rejoiced in the light of the sun. Once the pure water flowed straight to my well. Now I sing lamentations to heaven and hell. The keys of the kingdom were thrown at my feet. A table was laden with all I could eat. Now I beg them to feed me through the bars of a cell, and I sing lamentations to heaven and hell. From so far away, to all the dim voices that whisper and pray, show us your mercy, tell us all shall be well, while we sing lamentations from heaven or hell. Once I was golden, once I was young, and I danced in the light of the moon and the sun. Now I've grown weary of the sound of the bell, and I sing lamentations from heaven or hell. And I sing lamentations to heaven and hell. The guitar's a bit loud, actually. I'm going to take it down a bit. Some good friends of mine, some other musicians, fellow musicians called Rough and Tumble, a folk Americana duo, lovely people. They asked me to write a song for a CD they were putting together, the theme of which was going to be the highways of America, because we musicians know all about the highways of America. In most years, in a normal year, I do about 50,000 miles a year in my car, every single year. Do about 120, 130 shows every year. So I know all about the highways and the byways of America. And there are some of them which are very dear to me, and others which I could live quite happily without ever seeing again, not to name any names. I decided to write a love song to one of my favourite highways, which is Highway number 1 in California. So here's a song about a freeway. This is called California 1. Heading out on Highway 1, heading out, say you'll come with me, just you and me. Down the coast she rolls and winds, while the California sunlight shines on the sea. I can feel the mountain breeze, hear it singing through the redwood trees. I can taste the sweet, sweet wine, see the ocean move to its own time. Waves are breaking in the sun, I'm going where the endless rivers run. Oh, how they run on California 1. While we are standing still, time just advances over those blue, blue hills. Life surely dances, so much we lose and spill, wasted our chances to be free. I can feel the mountain breeze, hear it singing through the redwood trees. I can taste the sweet, sweet wine, see the ocean move to its own time. I'm heading out on Highway 1, heading out if you'll only come. We've just begun on California. California. Thank you. So back to my original guitar. Oops, daisy. Gonna try playing some brand new songs here because it's such a lovely audience. By the way, I wanted to spare a thought for all the guys and girls who wanted to come this evening and who were lining up outside the door, in case you didn't see them. But we turned them away because we felt that they just weren't quite good looking enough. So congratulations to everybody else. You passed the test. Going to do some new songs for you. Because you're such lovely people, I know you won't be too critical if I mess them up. Maybe nobody will know anyway. So my new CD is going to be called For the People, and it's got a sort of democratic kind of feeling about it, obviously being for the people, of the people, by the people, that kind of stuff. And it's more folky in intent than a lot of my previous CDs. I decided to go back to my roots, because my roots are kind of showing. No, I'm joking. To go back to my roots in folk music, particularly in English folk music. So they have a sort of English flavour about them, I think. So I hope you will indulge me. Well, I play some of them at least. This is called To the Sea. Can you tell me where my true love lies? What's that to me? What's that to me? Did she pass by on her morning ride? Follow the river to the sea. Were there wildflowers in her chestnut hair? What's that to me? What's that to me? It was for my sake she them did wear. Follow the river to the sea. There she'll wait on the sun-warmed sands while the waves rise and fall, where the old ruined castle stands and silence gazes from its walls. There she'll watch as the sailors make land, each with treasures galore. They will show her the pearls in their hands they have brought from distant shores. And in time to come she'll not grow old. What's that to me? What's that to me? For a rusty coin she'll trade her soul. Follow the river to the sea. Can you tell me where my sweetheart lies? What's that to me? What's that to me? Did you hear her sing as she passed by? Follow the river to the sea. Follow the river to the sea. Follow the river Thank you. Like that one. Yes, I'm pleased with that one actually. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. And that one kind of showed me the direction that the rest of the CD should go in. You know. Okay, so I thought I'd do something slightly different. I'll play a couple of instrumentals for you. Hope you're not bored by instrumentals. But one of my favourite guitarists is Leo Kottke. You know Leo Kottke's work. This is his arrangement of a Johann Sebastian Bach piece. And then I'm going to go straight into one of my own tunes, which is called I'll Never Tire of Looking in Your Eyes. So what I'm essentially doing here by playing a Bach piece followed by one of my own pieces is setting myself up for comparison with one of the greatest composers who ever lived. So there's nothing like aiming high when you're a musician. Okay, I think he'll let me get away with it this time. So, Jesu Joy of Man's Desire, followed by I'll Never Tire of Looking in Your Eyes. I appreciate it. I'm going to stay with this guitar for a while. My partner Stacey, she has a cause which she fights for. She has a non-profit, actually. She's the CEO of a non-profit. And the joke that we make is that she makes more money running a non-profit than I do as a musician, but that's okay. And the cause which she fights, the subject of her non-profit, is young kids who have trouble with their self-image, particularly young girls who are suffering with weight problems. They weigh too much, they weigh too little, they have bulimia, they have anorexia, whatever it might be, and they're depressed. And Stacey's goal is to teach these young kids that they're just fine, just the way they are. No matter what their peers and society might say about the way they look and who they love, the colour of their hair, the music they like, whatever it might be, they're just fine. So she calls her organisation Realise Your Beauty. And I decided to write a little song, a fairy tale about a girl who lived on an island for 3 days. An island where there was no social media, no Facebook, no Twitter, none of that stuff. And she decided she was going to make her island, a desert island, a beautiful place. So this is called The Ballad of a Brown-Eyed Girl. She was a young girl with eyes of brown, lived 3 days all alone on an island where the wind and the rain made a pitiful sound, and the sun and the sea endlessly pound the rocks on the shore and the white sand. On the first day she wrote with a stick in the sand words of welcome to all passing sailors. But as evening fell on the very same day, the tide coming in washed her words away, while the light of the moon grew paler. On the second day she stood at her window and sang a beautiful song to the morning, but no one was there on her island to hear, and the beautiful song that she sang disappeared in the sound of the rain that kept falling. On the third day she woke and she planted the seed of a rose that would bloom in her garden. But the sun beats down and it withered the rose, for she'd chosen a place where no river flows, in a land that never gives pardon. And though none ever read what she wrote in the sand, or heard what she sang from her window, and though the rose that she planted died in her hand, for 3 days the cruel world was a lovelier land, for the brown-eyed girl had made it so. She was a young girl with eyes of brown, lived 3 days all alone on an island where the wind and the rain make a pitiful sound, and the sun and the sea endlessly pound the rocks on the shore and the white sand. Thanks, everybody. It's the first time I played, although only the second or third time this year that I played in front of real people. You're not holograms, are you? You actually are. So it's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking. And then, just to make it even more difficult, we're actually filming today. So it's almost about like being back online, but you've got people sitting right in front of you watching your every move. So it's kind of nerve-wracking. Good for me, though, good for me. I'd like to do a couple more new songs. Been researching old English folk tales to get some ideas for songs. I've realised that the best way for me to approach them is not necessarily to tell the story, but to imagine myself in the role of one of the protagonists in that story and just sing from their point of view, rather than telling the story. So, and this particular song was based on a story about a mermaid. But in England we have such things as mermaids, of course, off the coast of Cornwall. And this particular mermaid was unable to return home one day because the captain of the local ship had dropped his anchor right over the mouth of her cave, so she couldn't go home. So this is her song to the captain. This is called "O Captain." Oh Captain, weigh anchor, I pray, for I may not return home till your anchor be raised. If you like my silvery tail, if you like my bright fishy scales, and my hair much lighter than the breeze, let me show you how thankful I can be. Hear my loved ones calling to me from our home deep under the sea. Draw your anchor from the ocean floor, where it lies now blocking my door. Oh Captain, weigh anchor, I pray, for I may not return home till your anchor be raised. My young ones are hungry in their lonely cave, or let not their watery home be their grave. My husband below, he is one of your kind, and his voice is sweeter than wine. I tempted him as I lay on the sand, and that same day he gave me his hand. Now each evening you may hear us sing to the moon and her sister the wind. They will send you calm friendly seas if you grant this favor to me. Oh Captain, weigh anchor, I pray. I beg you, let me go on my way. Have pity on this comely maid, for I may not return home till your anchor shall be weighed. Thank you. All right. It's the very first public performance of that song. Thank you so much. Okay, here's a song about a lonely lady. I've had a lot of songs based on true stories. In the late 1940s, there was a passenger train that used to run from the Pacific all the way to Milwaukee. They called it the Old Milwaukee. When I heard that name, I knew that there was a song waiting to do with that train. I read a story about a lady who used to lie awake at night listening for the sound of the train as it passed in the distance. She would listen out for the sound of the whistle blowing and the wheels churning late at night, and it filled her with all kinds of romantic ideas about herself and the men who worked on the train, the handsome conductor, the man who worked in the mailroom, and the driver. She was obviously a lonely lady. So this is a song partly about loneliness, I guess, and I based this song on a true story. This is called Miss Burgoyne and the Old Milwaukee. Now the time lies heavy on my hands. I often walk beside the place where the old Milwaukee Railroad used to pass. The tracks are torn up long ago. A few planks are left from the old depot, scattered among the weeds and the prairie grass. And in my mind a figure still sits on a platform in gathering dusk, in the clothes they made before the First World War, waiting around for the train to arrive in a fury of steam and whistle blows, and the conductor holding open the carriage door. The conductor holding open the carriage door. Her name was Edith, behind her back to her face she was Miss Burgoyne, and she lived with her parents in a modest bungalow, teaching piano to the neighborhood kids, 50 cents an hour to listen and smile as we stumbled through our scales and arpeggios. And whether it was her air of reserve, or her spinster's clothes, or her foreign name, or her college degree class in 1928, but whenever we ran out of games to play, we could always laugh at Miss Burgoyne and some of her stranger personality traits. Some of her stranger personality traits. It was in the summer of 35, as I recall, when the change began, and Edith first boarded the Milwaukee train. A 10-minute ride to the next stop on the line, and there she'd descend, and come a rain or shine, she'd walk 5 miles home again. 3 times a week, each week for a year, she rode the train alone, but why? None of us could ever understand. But I heard it said by others who were there. The conductor was a handsome man. He was a brown-eyed and very handsome man. So the years flew by and Edith's parents died, and she sold up and moved away. To Iowa the rumor went with a married man, and others said she died alone in bitterness and poverty on a barren farm with intractable land. But in my mind a figure still sits on a platform in gathering dusk, in the clothes they made before the First World War, waiting around for the train to arrive in a fury of steam and whistle blows, and the conductor holding open the carriage door. The conductor holding open the carriage door. So we're going to play till 7:30. We've got time for three or four more songs. I want to say thank you again to the library and to Marie for hosting us this evening. Thanks so much for enabling me to come and inflict my music upon you. This is Drop C, if you're interested in art. I always love to play for other guitarists because they can see through my every move. Yeah. So here's a song I wrote on lockdown about a year ago. No, a bit more, April of last year. Well, that was about the worst of it. In New York City, certainly, it was just miserable. The city looked like a shell, sounded like a shell. All we could hear at night were the sounds of ambulances going past. The streets were deadly quiet. It was very, very strange and eerie. But we got through that period and we've put it behind us. While I was in that moment, and my wife and child were with me in our apartment, we couldn't help but look forward to some future time when we would be out of this situation that we were in. And we couldn't help but look back to other moments when we were happy, or so it seemed, if we'd only known it, you know. But of course, the present is all we have, and the time is now. So this is a song that I wrote of acceptance. I guess this owes something to Pete Seeger's Turn, 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 which is one of my favourite songs. It's a bit like that. This is called In Time of Breaking.
In my time of breaking, there is always the rain that still falls. In my time of making, there is always a voice that still calls. While the world turns forever, spinning under the moon and the sun, I am here, and the time has come. In your time of growing, you will know why the tall tree sings. In your time of sowing, you will throw all your seeds to the wind. While the world turns forever, spinning under the moon and the sun, you are here, and the time has come. We'll rejoice in the morning, we'll embrace in the rain. We will walk by the river again. We will dance in the evening by the light of the stars. We will sing wherever we are. In our time of crying, it is only a shadow we see. In our time of dying, there is all we once were and will be. While the world turns forever, spinning under the moon and the sun, we are here, and the time has come. We are here, and the time has come.
Right. So I write a lot of songs based on true stories, and this song is based on a true story. It took place back in 1932 during the days of the Dust Bowl Depression. This song concerns a poor family who made their way across America on foot during the days of the Dust Bowl, 1932. In those days, there were dust clouds, tornadoes, hurricanes, you name it, tearing up America. There was also the height of the Great Financial Depression. The big crash began in 1929. By 1932, half the population, the adult male population, was out of work, and spread all over the world. But they were tough people, the pioneers out there in the far west, and they got through it with the help of some government programs and a lot of grit. And above all, the women of that period, the mothers, the sisters, the daughters and the wives, all the strong women of America who really helped us get through that dark moment, and as they have done so many times through our history when we, the men, needed carrying. So this is a tribute to the women of America. Need you now more than ever before This is my song based on a true story. This is called Days of Mercy. Days of Mercy. Daddy lost his job one day when he wouldn't take a cut in pay. He couldn't find another place, even one that paid him less. So he settled into his easy chair with his dog-eared magazines until the bank took back our house. And my mama only screamed when she was a little girl. She had a dream, she found the pearl hidden in the pocket of her pants. But the pants were full of holes, and when she woke the pearl was gone. And she was only 6 years old. Hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun. Faith in the road ahead, the days of mercy will surely come. Oh, when the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. So we sold up all we owned. We headed east in a touring car. We found a place with a plot of land down in windy Arkansas. My daddy worked on the lady's farm, but my mama heard it said he didn't work that lady's fields as much as he worked her bed. So she packed a cardboard case with a single change of clothes. I took the baby on her hip. I told us all to follow close, and we began the long walk home to the California coast. Hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead, the days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. Fainted in the heat of the Oklahoma sun, my mama led me to a stream and dipped a cloth to bathe my head. We walked all through New Mexico, and in the migrant workers' camp I learned all there was to know about the kindness of the poor. And all the children dressed in rags, they gave us everything they had. Bags of sweets with steady smiles, fresh tortilla around the fire, in the huts of rusty iron. When the baby started crying, hold on tight, my mama said, keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead, the days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. So we finally reached LA, beside a lake in Lincoln Park. A man was standing all alone, throwing crumbs to feed the ducks. When are you gonna take those children home? Asked the man, and my mama said, we just walked 2,000 miles, we'll make it yet with a little luck. And then the man just looked away. He said he guessed his turn had come. He pulled out $2 bills, enough to see us right, for a can of pork and beans and some shelter for the night. Hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead, the days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. Hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead, days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. Hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead, days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. I've got one more song for you, everybody. Please, thanks for being here. Please come back and support live music. Once again, thanks to Marie for enabling us all to be here this evening. Thanks, Marie. Thank you. Been a pleasure to play for you. If you'd like to buy a CD, please do so. This is what I do for a living, believe it or not. So here's a song which I hope will help to bring us all together. We need to be brought together now more than ever before because we're very divided, let's face it. Music is one very good way to do that. This is a song called Prayer. Let's take a moment and think about people we know and love who might be in need of a prayer this evening. There's always too many. This is called Prayer, and it goes out for everybody who doesn't have a prayer tonight.
Here's to you and here's to me. Here's to all we've ever seen. To all to come and all that's been. Here's to all we've ever shared. To our fathers and to our heirs. To all people everywhere. When they haven't got a prayer. Here's to the young and here's to the old, and to the body and to the soul, to all whose stories are still untold. Here's to the lightness and here's to the weight, to the gay and to the straight, to all who die too soon or were born too late. Here's to our enemies and here's to our friends, to the river that never ends. Here's to the sinners, here's to the born again. Here's to the black and here's to the white, to the left and to the right. Here's to the evening and here's to the morning light, coming into sight. To the rich and to the poor, here's to the sea, here's to the shore. Here's to all people everywhere. When they haven't got a prayer, 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 when they haven't got a prayer. Here's to the cop, and here's to the priest, to the west and to the east. Here's to all they bring to the feast. Here's to the lion and here's to the lamb. Here's to the beast and the heart of man. Here's to the house on rock and the house on sand. Here's to the heart and to the head, to the living and to the dead. Here's to the joy and to the tears we've shed. Here's to the first and here's to the last, to the future and to the past. Here's to all who've ever raised their glass anytime we ask. To the moon and to the sun, to all we've lost, all we won. Here's to all people everywhere. When you haven't got a prayer, 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 when you haven't got a prayer. Everybody, thank you. Brilliant. That's Marie. Thank you. Be safe, trouble. See you next time. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.